This whole situation is pretty sad. One man lost his life, another kid lost his life forever, and a family lost their child, and another family lost their child. Let's get into this TayK situation, man. So if you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys don't know, but if you have been on the internet in the past like 10 years, you've heard of TayK, the race, the song that made TayK famous. So basically, I'm gonna give you a rundown. I'm gonna play this clip for you real quick, just so I can just sum it up real quick, cause I don't feel like yapping, okay?
TayK is best known for his hit song, The Race,
But I ain't beat that case, bitch, I did the race.
which reached number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100 list. The song details TayK's evasion from the police after he was wanted for murder and robbery charges. TayK was on the run for allegedly participating in the murder of 21-year-old Ethan Walker during a botched robbery. On March 26, 2017, Tay tweeted, "Fuck this house arrest shit. Fuck 12, they gon' have 2 catch me on hood." TayK cut off his house arrest ankle monitor and went on the run for 3 months. It was during this time that he recorded The Race. While on the run, TayK also allegedly killed a 23-year-old man during a robbery in San Antonio. He was also accused of assaulting a 65-year-old man during a robbery in Arlington. After being arrested, TayK was charged with murder, 3 counts of aggravated robbery, and capital murder. His previous trial ended with him receiving a 55-year prison sentence. TayK, who is now 24 years old, previously expressed his disapproval at his 55-year sentence. In a series of posts on X last year, he argued that he played the most insignificant role in the crimes he's serving time for. TayK is
So that thing, right? So let me go on that real quick. He probably did play the most insignificant roles, but bro, you cut off your ankle monitor and you made a hit song. Like, listen, me, cause all right, when I was younger, I'm like, yo, keep TayK locked up. But now I'm older, I'm like, all right, he was 16 years old. He was around the wrong crowd. Maybe give him another chance. But again, though, on the same thought, we lost 2 people. I didn't even know there was a second murder, but we lost 2 people while TayK was out doing whatever he was doing. Now imagine how those families feel. That family, those people's families doesn't want TayK to be free because you literally got our sons killed or helped get our sons killed, and then you go on the run making a hit song, getting all this money. And the sad thing is, TayK didn't even see the money. That's the sad thing. TayK didn't even see the money. He didn't even see the fame. He didn't get to go on stages. He didn't get to go on Rolling Loud. He didn't get to go to Coachella. He didn't get to do any of that. Bro, the label just used this whole situation and just used this little black kid into getting more money. But let's be real. It's TayK's fault. Like, let's be real. It's TayK's fault. But I did see recently that he got sentenced to 80 years. He's 24 right now. He got sentenced to 80 years, and when he got locked up, he was 16. Bro, for his whole life, he's going to be locked up. His whole life. And maybe that's too harsh. And just hear me out, right? Bro, I'm pretty sure that TayK understands and he regrets every single moment of this, bro. At 16, you're still kind of a kid, right? Even though you know right from wrong. At 16, you're still kind of a kid, bro. And he lost his whole. I think everybody during that case is out. Like everybody that done the crimes and shit, they're out. They're free. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I really do believe so. It's just that TayK is the only one locked up because they're setting an example. Oh, so you can go out here murder 2 people, help murder 2 people, go on a run, cut off your ankle monitor, tweet, and make a music video, getting millions, and damn near a #1 hit. Like, they're gonna make a prime example out of him. And we literally seen this kid grow up inside the jail. Bro, I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade when TayK got arrested. Bro, I am 21 years old now, and he's still locked up. And I was gonna bring up Bobby Shmurda, for example. When Bobby Shmurda got locked up, he was on his gang stuff. But when he got out, he was out here dancing, having fun, enjoying life, because he actually realized, okay, this is not the life I want. I realized I got a second chance. Maybe that will be TayK in the future. You never know. Maybe that will be TayK in the future, man. But it's just a sticky situation because he was involved in 2 people dying. He was involved in 2 people dying. So should we even and then go and make music videos and fuck the police? I'm on the race. Like he doesn't care. You're giving the family their ass to kiss, the authorities their ass to kiss, your ass to kiss. Like, so I mean, like, you really can't get mad that they're doing this on purpose. But I got extra clips to play. There's clips of him in the actual jail, him getting sentenced, and other little clips, right? It's just a sad situation. And I really hope TayK is doing good in jail, bro. Even though, yes, he is involved in 2 murders, bro. Like, I do believe that people deserve second chances. And You never know, man. Maybe he really switched around his life in jail. He has a different mindset, but it's like I said, it's tricky because imagine the families that lost their sons because of TayK involvement. So I mean, it's a really sticky situation, man. But let's run these clips real quick, all right? Shout out to my mod Chloe. She sent me these 2 clips. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Chloe.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, Mr. McIntyre, the jury found you guilty of murder. Your punishment is to be assessed at 80 years in the prison.
God, bro, 80 years. Bro, like, some of us watching this video won't even be alive in 80 years. This kid is going to die in that cell. And coming from a guy that never had a dad because of jail, that fucking sucks, bro. Listen, I know, like, typical black kid, oh no, but for real, I never actually had a real father because he was in jail till this day, since I was born, 2003 till this day. And that really fucks with me sometimes, subconsciously and consciously. So imagine what TayK's family is going through. Even though, yes, it is his fault that he's in that situation, but it's still a sad situation at the end of the day. And I don't want to hear nobody be like, black oppression, this, that. No, it's his fault. This isn't nobody else's fault but TayK and his friends. It was his fault that he cut off that ankle monitor and go out and do other crimes and make a music video on the run. That is his fault. That is his fault. It's kind of his fault for letting the record labels and stuff exploit his name for more monetary value while he's in jail. Yeah, maybe his family can eat off his name now. Maybe he's okay with knowing that his family now has money because that one music video. Of course, the label is probably sending, you know, his money. I mean, yeah, his money to his family and whoever he wants to send it to. But the label is going to eat majority of that money. You know what I mean? So it's a sad situation. The label is profiting off of young black kids like this every single day with the music. They don't care about you. But at the same time, why should they? It isn't their fault. It isn't their fault that these kids are in the hood doing these music videos, doing these drills. And that's not the label's fault. The label didn't necessarily tell you, hey, go out into this hood and do this. The label didn't say that. You could be like a Kanye. Yeah, you may be corny at the beginning of your career, but look at Kanye now. I know people don't like Kanye, but let's be real. He's one of the greatest artists of all time. And people called him corny for being different at the beginning of his career. But now look how it panned out. He's bigger than all of them. You know what I mean? And I know people are going to be like, oh, but Kanye, shut up. Stop being soft. Shut up. I'm just using that as an example. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, I'm yapping. Let's get back to it. I'm sorry.
The court will give you credit for any time served. There's a $0 fine. And with regards to the other offense, State, are you requesting that to be stacked?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor.
And I'm assuming you're against that. Is that correct?
We are, Your Honor. We would just like to briefly, for the record, maintain that our argument would be that to run consecutively an 80-year sentence on top of 50.
Just one moment, counsel. Just give me one moment. Mr. McIntyre, I want you to know that I listened to all of the evidence in punishment and thought about whether or not your sentence should be stacked. I don't know where your mom is, don't know where your father is. I know that you had a rough childhood. And I do know that these offenses occurred when you were very young. And I understand the state of the law, what people consider an adult. I listened to the testimony of the expert that was brought by defense counsel. You've already been sentenced to murder in the other county, and then you have a murder here. And the sentence for 55 years, that's a stiff sentence. This 80-year sentence is a stiff sentence. And these are cases where you have to serve half your time, and that's day for day time, and I recognize that. Hopefully you will grow, but based upon his age, based upon the number of years that he has received out of Tarrant County and the number of years that he's received here, based upon his history and the lack of any type of good parenting. From what I can tell, his mother wasn't a good parent to him. His father wasn't a good parent to him. Child Protective Services was not good. And if you believe the testimony, I don't know why Child Protective Services would place children back with a father who put the children's mother in the hospital.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Yeah, that's actually, hold on, my fault. That's actually crazy. That's actually wild. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That's actually a crazy thing that she just said. And I'm sorry to TayK for that. You know what I mean? And I remember earlier I was like, it's not the label's fault and all the stuff that you do these crimes. It isn't their fault. But sometimes you can understand why people do those crimes. Sometimes people don't want to be in the house because their mom is literally getting beat up and abused, right? So they leave the house and just trying to escape that hell that they're living in. And then they find up they wind up in the wrong group. And you know that does happen sometimes. And you know, I will say I am sorry for being ignorant to that fact. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, let's keep it real. It doesn't mean you pick up the gun and take somebody else's life. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse. We all know right from wrong. Yes, you can still hang out with the wrong crowd, but you know, doesn't mean that it's okay that now it gives you the leeway in order to take somebody else's life. Because the wrong crowd could just consist of just doing drugs and just escaping, you know, vandalizing, or you know, just doing little random hoodlum stuff, bro. Like maybe stealing from the store time to time. I'm not saying it's good, but that's better than taking somebody's life. You know what I mean? So I am sorry for TayK's upbringing for that. It is no excuse, but you can kind of see why he was down that road. You know what I mean? So we're not going to be ignorant to that fact.
Already been sentenced to murder based upon any type of good parenting. From what I can tell, his mother wasn't something else that needs to be done with our society. Yes. Is more money need for Child Protective Services and their workers? Yes. And I do realize that while this is a lot of time, and I tell people all the time, any time that you do in custody is a lot of time. But by that same token, you're still alive. And what the state has said is true. You're still alive. You can still better yourself. If you end up in prison for the rest of your life, you're still alive. You still can improve yourself. Your family can still visit.
Yeah, but like, what's the point? That's my mindset, right? What's the point? Bro, you literally have me in like a fucking, like, you literally have no pun, no jokes, but like you're like, I'm like Gojo. In the when what's his name? When Ghetto fucking trapped, well, when Kenjaku trapped Gojo in the prison realm or whatever, that's literally what it is. You're just sitting in a cell, even though you have people you can talk to time for time. Bro, you just sitting in a cell. You're not improving. And this is the thing that I've learned myself, and my mom told me, right? And I can see it from my dad when I talk to him sometimes. And my dad did get out for a little while, but then he went back in because it's the same mindset. I'm gonna get on that. Watch. So the mindset you go to jail with or prison with, you have that forever. Because it's like time just stays the same kind of in jail, right? You really don't see outside. You really don't see the sun come up, come down. You really don't improve. It's not like you go and get a new job. You go and do this experience. You go to this concert that gives you more experience in public speaking or being in crowds or around other. You know what I mean? Like you're not really experiencing life and growing as a human. So the mindset you go in jail or prison with, you kind of keep that for the rest of your life until you get out of that situation. You feel me? So me personally, I see that in my real life with my father. When I talk to my father on the phone sometimes, he sounds like me because he went to jail at like 20 something years old. So he sounds like a young man, like me. He doesn't sound like an old head, you know what I mean? A wise old head. No, he sounds like me. And maybe my dad is wise. Maybe he is wise from the time of being in jail, but he still talks and sounds and acts like me because he went to jail at a young age. He's always been in there. He's never really been able to mature and be a man and raise kids like an actual man. So you know what I mean? So that's probably what TayK is going to be going through. There's not really no growth that's going to happen in his life. It's just stagnant limbo for the rest of his life. And that's sad. That is sad. And oh my God, we're gonna keep going. I'm sorry. It's sad,
But
man.
the complainant in this case is deceased. And you need to internalize that the complainant in this case is deceased. And that his family is never going to see him again. So you're going to have to make changes. And you're going to have to remove people from your life who are not of benefit in the means of making you a better person. And I do understand that sometimes people will go to prison, they join gangs because you need protection, because you're there by yourself, you're young, but you're going to have to make better choices. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to sentence him to 80 years in the prison, give him credit for any time served. There is a $0 fine. This will run concurrent with 1511547D. And is there any...
Wow. That is actually sad. 80 years. 80 years. Wow. Wow. And I believe that there's other people in this case that got off, like they're free right now. And I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but I believe, don't quote me on this, but I really do believe that there's a white girl, 2 white girls, or just 1 white girl, that set up one of the guys. They actually set them up, got them to the house, and they're scot-free. But the only reason why I believe everybody is free except TayK is because they did the crime, but they wasn't on the run. They wasn't. I mean, don't quote me on this. Don't quote me on this part. But this is obvious. They didn't make a fucking music video on the run with their wanted poster, laughing and throwing up gang signs with their wanted poster, smoking weed and shit on camera, like saying "fuck the police" and shit. Bro, that's probably the reason why they're still. That's probably the reason why they're free right now. But we got one more clip. All right.
All right, if the defendant could please stand. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. Excuse me, no. No, out of the courtroom. Out of the courtroom now.
I'm sorry, wait, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. This is like an insane fucking case. The judge clearly said, don't do this, and why are you gonna do it anyway? Like, this is a serious case for TayK. This is probably like his family or his people that care for him. Why would you do this? I know you're excited, but you gotta contain that. Like, she clearly said before this, obviously, don't do that. Then you're gonna do it anyway. Like, that's gonna put a bad look on TayK. He's probably like, bro, come on. Like, you know what I mean?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. Excuse me, no. No, out of the courtroom. Out of the courtroom now.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you don't ignore that. Sometimes, as you can tell, people are invested, correct? So it says, we, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder. Does anyone wish to have the jury polled?
Not the state, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's it. So 80 years for TayK, and it's a sad situation, but you know, he dug his own grave. He dug his own grave. And I bet, you know, obviously he would regret this for the rest of his life. Even if he comes out tomorrow, right? He would regret this for the rest of his life. He couldn't. I mean, maybe when he comes out, he would still have fame and stuff like that, but it would be like Bobby Shmurda. You know, everybody was excited for Bobby Shmurda to come out. He came out, cool. He was popular for like a month, then he just fell off. You know what I mean? But it's not necessarily falling off. It's just Bobby Shmurda just, okay, I'm free. Let me not mess this up. Let me actually go have fun. And that's what he was doing. He was having fun. People were saying he was zesty because he was out here dancing, having super fun with women and stuff. Enjoy your time, bro. You did. Listen, he went to jail. He learned his lesson. He got out. Now he's having fun, living a great life. Maybe TayK needs a second chance, bro. And I know, like, it's crazy to say because he took two people's lives, but he was 16 years old. He was a young kid. He was around bad influences. He had a rough upbringing. Maybe give him another chance. I guarantee if TayK comes out today, he will be a way better man. And I bet he will capitalize on this moment and do way better than the rappers that's out right now. Like, for example, right? Lil Durk and stuff like that. Bros millionaires and stuff, but they're still putting out hits and stuff in the hood. You're a millionaire, but you're still putting out hits to get these people killed because there's beef and all that. You're a millionaire. Why are you still beefing? You know what I mean? So give TayK that spot real quick. Let TayK come out and be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Maybe he would change his life better rather than these other rappers fucking up for themselves. That's really all I gotta say, man. I really pray for TayK, and this case is really sad, but I also pray for the family that lost their kids too. Because the only reason why people even care about rappers becoming free is just for their entertainment, but they don't care about the other party. And I was always like that, right? When people were saying free Thug, I was always the person thinking like, how about the person's family that Thug ruined by killing their son, by doing this, by robbing them, by shooting at people's houses, stray bullets. How about their families, bro? Yes, Young Thug's a great rapper. Yes, he's a great artist. But let's look beyond the art real quick and let's look at the person. Let's look at their movement. Let's look at what they're doing in their community. Are they really a good person or are they a demon in our society that's fucking infiltrating us? Now other little black kids and white kids and Mexicans are gonna be thinking the same way. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, man. I pray for this whole situation. It's sad. It's sad.